me see, what would be better if I went this way or this way?
Yeah.
What time is it?
You've got time. Okay. Maybe you might want to sit over here. I'll sit over there.
No,
That
you're
was-
good. That way you can
that was
do all the
Alice.
technical stuff.
But her technical thing. Oh, good. I got a good picture of you there. Good. Everybody.
Got everybody in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, I may not have looked at it right, but I was trying to see if I could find the right one. Okay. It's like everything was connected to something and I didn't want to touch it.
Right, no. I understand. I don't know why, but it's all the way over there.
Aha! We found it.
Yay!
Is
Jacob-
it plugged into the board?
No, it's not plugged into anything
It's
right
just
now.
completely detached to this one.
Excuse
You need me to plug that green someplace else?
Here you go.
Okay.
Oh.
Jacob, do you care if we tell you who's bringing in what? Does that matter to you?
It doesn't really matter to
So
me
is that
much,
plugged into
but-
something then? Okay.
I'm going to bring these first two segments, and then we'll have Martin, and then George as the last one.
Okay, now these knobs,
So-
so just turn them up a little bit?
Where is that one at? Like the one you plugged in?
The second.
Yes, what does it say there, though? Oh, if it's lined up with the first one, yeah, that's fine.
So just leave the knobs the way they are?
Well, yeah.
I don't have to raise
It's like a
them.
medium volume, so.
Oh, okay, good.
Do you want to do a sound check,
Thank you.
Jacob, on this one?
On that computer there?
Yeah.
Let's do it real quick. Sure.
Okay.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
We're missing the...
I'll have music
Oh, you guys got those.
running.
Holy moly.
Holy guacamole.
Holy moly, guacamole, and frijoles. Okay, good.
So,
Thank you.
Someone posted on Facebook today, Michael Savage. Did you hear about this already?
No.
He went on, and he says, Cruz is his insider. He's all into Bush. He's with the Bush family. He worked for
Who said that?
W. Bush. Michael Savage.
Michael Savage said it because Sean Hannity said it earlier this afternoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what time.
He was beating that drum all day.
And he did this, and he went on and on and on. I'm thinking, well, if he worked for GW, why is that a problem? You know, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Or not GW, the first Bush, rather. And he was just like, I want to go for him. Blah, 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 blah.
Sean was trying to say that Cruz may not be a Beltway insider, and he might not be well regarded by his fellow senators, but that makes him no less an insider because he is a Wall Street insider. That's where his allegiance is to Wall Street.
Sean Hannity was saying this?
Yes, so if you're looking for someone who's an insider, and Ted Cruz is saying he's not, he is, but what he's not saying is that he's beholden to Wall Street, not to DC, not to
Interesting.
the political part of it.
And Savage is all about, he's connected to the Bush, he's nothing. And I'm thinking, well, if that even, there's so many questions to have about that. Why would Jeb Bush even run if he was such good friends of the family?
Well, and why would Jeb endorse Cruz and not Rubio?
Has Jeb endorsed anybody
He's
yet?
going to.
And Neil Bush endorsed Cruz.
But isn't that sort of
And he's the brother, I think.
he-
Fiorina endorsed Cruz. Ben Carson
right?
endorsed Trump.
But do you
Nobody's
think that,
endorsing Rubio.
Do you think that it's because Neil Bush has already endorsed him, that it's likely that Jeb is going to do it now, that he'll just fall into line? And
It would seem so. Although I don't know what is waiting for. Maybe they're still waiting for Kasich. I think they're waiting
I think they're waiting for Tuesday.
for those things to happen and see what really happens then.
Did you watch the
Florida.
debate? Both debates.
I watched some of the debate. I didn't get to watch all of it
Do we
last
want to
night.
talk a little bit about that? We want to touch on that?
We can. You know what else we need to talk about as well? Did you watch the Jorge Ramos?
Yes, I
debate?
did.
She really
Yeah.
didn't like that question at all.
Did you watch that, Frank? Oh my gosh! And you know what I noticed too about Hillary? And then when we're on the air, I'm going to forget all this. So remind me if I do. When Hillary is talking, whenever she lies, that I know what she's saying is a lie. She looks down like this. Well, I never gave that order. She'll look down. She looks down, away from the camera. Notice next time when she talks.
I know.
In fact, you know what? I think I taped this thing. I might have a video. We could have a soundbite.
That's Steve.
We do,
Okay, so we got the mariachi.
but
Just scroll up and or down.
she can be our military moment.
Chips and salsa.
Chips and salsa. It's been such a long time,
We got the
Martin.
gang on here.
It's been such a long
This is
time.
Vietnamese?
No, that's Steve.
Oh, Steve.
That's the other guy I was telling you
Where
about.
is this now? Let's see.
Oh, I'm impressed. See this? There's, if you scroll down, the gentleman he was talking about, Steve. Those are all the organizations he's chaired. If you go,
Oh, wow.
you go down to the top, and then scroll down, you see the guy's really.
Frank, did you go to BYU?
No, I did not.
Oh,
This was Steve.
oh, this is Steve.
Steve
Oh,
Stoddard.
Steve stuttered.
Oh, I got mad too at this girl today.
Because Kasich spoke to the humanity of immigration and talked about the
Oh, I
fact
see.
that all of
Oh,
us,
okay.
for the most part,
Now I'm with you.
99% of us, are not Native Americans. We all came
I'm
from
impressed
somewhere,
by-
or our
yeah,
families
that's-
did.
Oh, I've
So
seen
therefore, I
him.
think in the
If you
general
scroll
election,
down, you can see all
he
the stuff
resonates
he's.
best. Of course, in a Republican primary, that doesn't go over well.
He's,
Republicans want to hear all about building walls and keeping
No,
everybody out, and that's why
Haiti.
Trump has really resonated so
Saturday.
strongly with the Republican
Martin's,
base, and why you have Marco Rubio
Latter-day
running
Saints.
away from what used to be his position on comprehensive immigration.
said, "You're
reform,
LDS." I was telling
after
Frank, "You're
citizenship and
LDS."
Oh.
debate bill, and
Steve
completely
used to
putting
be
that aside now, and
the head of
introducing
worldwide
kind of
communications
xenophobic behavior that
for
Donald Trump
the
is
church.
engaging in.
And he is still the informal advisor to the president and the 13.
oh, really?
Yes, has been for years.
Really? I didn't know that.
And he was head of several missions, and then he was the Maryland Temple. He was the president of that in D.C. area when he was back there. So
My wife has been to the temple in Washington, D.C., and she said it's just absolutely beautiful. It's one of the biggest temples that the church has in terms of square footage, but she says it's absolutely beautiful. You drive up, and it just appears, and it's just this beautiful edifice.
Steve is the person that got me in politics in the first place.
Oh,
No, it's all his
National.
fault.
It's all his fault, and he's to this day he is one of my closest friends.
That's
So, and in fact, he's a business partner. So,
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, he has a business. What's the name of the business?
the Thorwald Group.
Thorwald Group.
A very imaginative name. You know.
But what is it?
They have your name there.
Is it a real estate or no?
No, we, Steve and I do government relations and trade, help companies come to the United States, go internationally, go through and try to the regulatory processes here and internationally. Then the other two are involved in financial areas.
Wow. Are you helping U.S. businesses get set up in Cuba, or are you helping foreign countries in the United States?
Both.
Oh, you help both.
Go both ways. Too.
Oh, cool.
I'm also the chairman of the Oil and Gas Commission here in Arizona, and then I'm on an ADOT board too for economic development, using trying to help the cargo, how cargo is handled through Arizona.
Is that chairmanship that you have, is that an appointment from Governor Ducey?
It's an appointment. I've been on the commission since 2009, but I was reappointed when Ducey came in, and then internally it's an election of who becomes chairman.
I see. Did you see Jan Brewer? It's got me thinking. You said 2009. She was on the Fox debate the other night. Did you see her talking to?
I thought I saw a snippet. She was being interviewed.
Yeah.
About her
I
support
saw
for
her
Trump.
the other day.
Who was she being interviewed? I don't remember
I
now.
don't remember either.
She did well.
Yeah, her support for
She was
Trump.
at CPAC. That's where she was.
Yeah.
She was at CPAC.
Mhm.
And they were asking if the question was, is Donald a conservative? No.
Did she say no?
I don't remember what she said. But I remember
She did a pretty good
she did
job. I saw a minute
remember.
of
Yeah,
that.
I didn't have any issues with
So
it.
have you got a guy yet? When we talked to him last
my
time, he didn't
guy
like any of them.
is going to be the person who the country has selected to be our candidate for president.
So you're not going to say who.
That's correct.
So if I asked you, if you had to vote today, Frankie,
I would vote for the Republican candidate for president, would be my answer.
and out of the selection today, you're not going to tell me. It's okay.
Headline
I
news,
tried
commentary,
last time.
And entertainment from a decidedly
Good.
conservative Latino perspective. Hello, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome. I'm gonna have it queued up for you. So
I forgot him. I'm sorry.
I have one.
Here's what I thought I'd do. I'd come back and say, well, did you want to bring it in? If you'd like to bring it in, you can.
That's fine.
I'm just going to bring it and say, it's
I have
back.
three-
It's time for
I have
another
three
edition of
so-
the Chips and Salsa Show. We have a great show. You won't want to miss it. And then I'm just going to
Normally
kind
we
of
have like 4 of them.
gear it up and steer it up and say we've got Don't Go Away
There
because
are
we're giving away
mariachis.
receipts gift certificates. We have Ed Meese on in our next segment, and we have a special guest in the studio, Frank Thorwald, who we'll bring on in a minute. But first, after I do a little housekeeping like that, then I'll throw it to you, and then you can introduce the mariachis. How's that?
Are you gonna introduce George and me though?
Well, yeah, that's a
Okay, so
given.
you'll do all of that, and then you'll say, but first, and then I'll say, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, recibamos con un fuerte aplauso nuestro mariachi. What's the fun of that? And then
Right.
I'll go back to you. Okay.
Now, do you still want me to introduce Ed?
Yeah, so
Okay.
when we bring them on in the second segment, then I'll throw it back to you. I'll bring it in and throw it back to you.
We'll probably bring him in near the end of the first segment? Is that
No,
one?
we'll bring Frank
And then
in.
you're going to talk about what we're going to talk about on the show. Like we're going to talk about Bay, we're going to talk about Frank
Debate,
and Meese and
Nancy Reagan.
We're going to talk about the debates, and we're going to talk about.
I want to mention this ballot because I think that's really funny, the Democrat ballot. And also,
So
are
there's
we
a
supposed
lot.
to get Democrat ballots?
Well, you wouldn't get both.
Well, we're all Republicans. Why did I get a Democrat ballot? I should have
Is
asked
your name on it?
Helen Purcell. No, it just comes
Aha!
as Democratic, but it says Democrat registered voter or voters, and that's how this one came too. I bet they sent it to both just to play it safe. I was going to ask Purcell.
I wonder if that's something that they do in your district.
Let me call. Oh, let
I
me
didn't get it. I got the one for Republicans.
I only
but,
got the one for Republicans.
Meet
too.
up, really? Okay, I am going to see if I can't call Miss Helen Purcell
Is
and
this for
ask
the
her.
preference election? Why haven't I gotten one?
I just got mine today.
Oh, okay. I'll probably
Did
get
you check
My
your-
wife didn't get one. She has been a registered Republican forever. And when we changed addresses, she put in and changed the address. Well, nobody said anything to her, and she didn't see anything on the ballot. So they re-registered as independent. She didn't know
Really?
it until she called in the other day. Why haven't I gotten my ballot?
I know she was pissed.
She was not happy.
Oh my God.
Especially somebody that's voted and been in politics that long. It's like, hey. Could
Yeah.
you check my volume? I can't
Sure,
find
you're
it.
lovely. Let me see. Which
I don't
one
hear
are you?
nothing.
Is that you?
No, I'm on the first one.
Is this you?
Nothing. Maybe we're not
Is
on.
this you?
No,
Is this you?
no. No, I'm in the
Is
first.
this you?
Oh, no, I'm over here.
Helen, it's Alice Lara, and we're going to
we
be
have
doing
to-
our Chips and Salsa show here at 8 o'clock. And I wanted to ask you a
All
question.
right.
Today in the mail, Mark
Maybe
and
he
I are
doesn't
both
have the-
Republicans, and we received 2 sample ballots. One was for the Republican Party and one for the Democrat Party for the presidential preferential. And I just wanted to ask you, is that supposed to happen? Because nobody there is registered
I'm not
Democrat.
hearing anything, George.
So
Let me ask
if
him if he
you
has
could
it.
just even
So
text
So
me
we're
an
not getting
answer, that
program in
would
here.
be
Just let him know
great.
we're not getting program
All right.
in here.
Sorry to bother you, but have a wonderful night. Thanks. I think that's really interesting.
Today is. There we go. We have program.
You should hear something.
We have program.
He just pushed the button in
Yeah.
there. It's like-
Holy moly, I know. blasting my ears out. You're listening to the Friday edition of the Chips and Salsa Show. Welcome back. Friday, March 11th, and the countdown to...
Is that too loud on everybody?
The countdown to St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patty's Day, that's right.
It's next Thursday. This
Could-
coming Thursday.
Martin, could I ask you to turn
You're
down number
days
2,
away.
por
I
favor?
think all of them just have it halfway.
Is that you? Is that you? No? Is this you?
That's me.
You want it up or down?
Higher. Lower. That's good.
Mine?
Which one are you, George? This one? Higher or lower?
How are you?
A little loud.
You're loud. He's number whatever that says over there, Martin. Some little numbers over here. Number one.
Oh, you're number
You're
one?
number 1.
Because I'm hearing number 1 on mine. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, you're 2 then. Okay.
And then that one I have on the computer. So you got halfway is good. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Today is Friday, March 11th, 2016, and my name is Martin Gonzalez. In the studio that we lovingly refer to as El Morcajete. El Morcajete, Don Francisco. Alice Lara. Alice, you know what? That might be fun. If I just started off like, Alice Lara. And then you go, hi, this is Alice Lara.
I like that monster voice.
Alice Lara.
Your voice.
Martin Gonzalez, the voice that never stops,
Boing,
but always pops.
boing.
So I have to tell you a story. Last Thursday we had our Republican Women's meeting,
Yeah.
and you'll enjoy this. So I was on my way driving early, and George texts me, and he says, Edna's going to come, and I think Fred's coming too. So I'm like, okay, Edna's cool. I wonder who Fred is, whatever. So I text him back, okay, that's fine, we got to do an RSVP, whatever. And I said, okay. And then I get there, and he says, yeah, I don't think Fred's going to make it. Okay. He gets there, says, yeah, Fred couldn't make it. And I was busy, he says, okay, that's fine. So we go through the whole meeting, and then afterwards, after the whole meeting's done, I said, George, I've been trying to figure out, who's Fred? Because my menopause memory's so bad. Who are you talking about, Fred? You know, Fred. Thorwald. Frank. That's Frank. I was thinking the whole time, who is Fred? Frank. But I know you'd enjoy that. I'm getting as bad as you. I was telling something to Mark the other day.
Oh, you know what? You said something. Oh, about the meeting tomorrow. You were saying that the conference room. We had already talked about it. Maybe Sonia couldn't be there that early.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if he could just have that earlier though, because Edna.
She said she could maybe meet.
Well, I just mean before the show.
Yeah.
That way we can have it before the show, so we don't bother the Reverend.
Okay, sounds good.
And Edna, I emailed Edna because I told Edna if you want to come early and meet with us.
Yeah.
What time can you be there tomorrow?
Sonia said just let her know. But she'll go as early as we need her to go.
Okay,
I thought she couldn't, but she said we just have to drop the little one off at her parents'
Are you
house.
guys doing the show tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you doing Rositas tomorrow?
I can't. I got a deal after. I got to go right after the show. But you guys can go. Go.
Who's the guest is going to be a live-in guest, right?
Say again.
We're going to have a live guest, right?
Yeah, we
Student
have
guest?
we have Dr. History. He's going to be really good. He knows everything about the Middle East. He's awesome.
Yeah, Edna's doing her show too, so we're helping her, kind of giving her a little bit of.
I talked to Gabby about Edna. I want to talk to you about that too.
By the way, Ed is an expert on terrorism too.
Awesome.
Issues.
Oh, we can ask him about that too.
Who?
Ed Meese.
Uh-huh.
He's an expert on terrorism issues.
Oh, great.
Because ISIS is really, they're smoking in Libya.
He worked with Ambassador Brimmer too, and was on a lot of the different special commissions on that stuff.
Wow. Martin, I think I'm going to introduce
Yeah, I
you.
didn't see those
Do
pictures you
you
brought
guys
up.
do a little housekeeping, and then I'm going to say, and because he's back, because he's the
pictures
only
you
one
brought?
that does
Yes.
this right,
Maybe I can
then I'll
take a
throw
look
it
at
to you.
some
Then
of
you can go into Mariachi
Sure,
land.
just open it up.
Is that okay?
However you want.
I'll fake it. We'll do it.
Do we want to say anything like we want to dedicate the show to Nancy Reagan or anything like that?
That's not a bad idea. That's not a
Looked
bad
a little
idea.
younger there.
I was quite a
to
bit
make the
younger.
connection, or do you think it's
That was about 30.
or,
I think
or do you want to just
2000.
say condolences to the Reagan family on the passing of Nancy Reagan?
Yeah,
Maybe
we
something
should
like
at
that.
least
That was
do
about
that.
32
That's
years
true.
ago.
Yeah.
He looks so different, huh?
Yeah. Well, we all looked better 30 years ago. That's right.
You know, we've been in Phoenix 30 years. I
We
can't
all looked
believe
younger
it.
30 years ago.
I can't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, I hope so. 30 years is a long time ago. Woo!
Anyway, yeah. So if you want to say condolences to the Reagan family on the passing of Nancy Reagan,
That bag, just pull the bag out there. There's a bunch of stuff in there.
one of America's great first ladies.
All sorts of junk.
No, it's not junk. It's memorabilia.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I've just got so much of it.
It'll no doubt go in the Frank Thorwald
James
Library.
The White House.
I have
a
it.
wing of the Ronald Reagan Library.
Actually, I have a few things that later on I will donate to the Reagan Library that go. Turns out I'm one of the few that still has the original manual that we were all given, campaign manual, that we all the paid staffers were given to work from, with all the rules, names still on it, date, everything. You know, the official number.
Oh, that's absolutely that has to go in the Reagan Library.
He was a press secretary.
In the Frank Thorwald wing of the Ronald Reagan Library.
Nancy Reagan. All
I
that
know.
stuff.
Isn't that interesting, her signatures like that?
Dear Frank, I'm thrilled to hear from you.
I thought she'd have this
Yeah,
fancy
you would think that she would.
Catholic signature, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's very
You would think that.
You guys
she
have a
would scribble her
commercial,
name
so we're
on
about
Nancy.
45 seconds.
All right.
Do we need to re-record another commercial sometime?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe we could have a
I don't know when
variety.
we'd do it. But we'd have to, I won't be able to do it for the next 4 weeks for sure. But
You're still training?
yeah, the pain and everything was so bad that I actually couldn't continue.
Could you turn me down just a little bit? That's good. Yeah, use the commercials are louder anyway usually. Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Good evening. It's Friday night and we are getting our guac on. I'm Alice Lara here on the Chips and Salsa Show. If this is the first time you've listened, you are in the Molcajete with me, Alice Lara, and to my right, Jorge Ortiz. And he's so scrappy again. And he's back among the living, Martin Gonzalez.
Hello there.
The voice that never stops. Hey, we have a fantastic show. Do not go away. We're going to bring on in a few minutes here our good friend Frank Thorwald, who is back. He is the first vice chairman for MCRC, that's Maricopa County Republican Committee, and he's going to be introducing a very special guest, former Attorney General Ed Meese of the Reagan administration, and it's very timely on this horrific week. We lost a great one. We lost former First Lady Nancy Reagan, and Chips and Salsa Show sends out its warm condolences. I watched just a bit of the funeral. We're going to be talking about that as well. Just a great lady. And I just want to say real quick, my she actually was my grandmother-in-law. Got to meet Nancy Reagan. She was very active in California politics. And she was a very harsh critic. She was a very staunch Republican. And she told me how gracious and wonderful that Nancy Reagan was. So I know she really must have been truly wonderful. So I always feel good about that. Lots to do. And also with that, we are going to be giving away a Rosita's gift certificate for $50 and something new tonight. We have some comedy tickets. But before we get into everything and the whole gist of the show, and we're so glad that you decided to join us this Friday night to get your weekend started, we have to bring Martin Gonzalez, who is the best at doing the introduction of our mariachis from the Chips and Salsa show. So take it away, Martin.
Oh, you're so very kind. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, recibamos con un fuerte aplauso nuestro mariachi.
Ooh. I've missed you, Martin. I'm still working on that. You do that so well. And I know the mariachis have missed you. When George and I are here, it's just not the same, is it, George?
No, it's missing that little zing that he brings.
Oomph, the little zing, you know, just that energy, whatever you want to call it.
The Martin zing.
Well, it's just great to have Mr. Maracas and the official mariachi of the Chips and Salsa show right here in the studio that we lovingly refer to as El Molcajete. We're cozied up with Javier and Victor, Enrique, Santiago, Miguel, Ernesto, Luis, Pancho, Rogelio, and a friend. So the gang's all here.
Oh, you forgot one more we added last time, remember? Agapito.
Agapito.
And no se olvida, Rogelita.
And Rogelita, como siempre, aquí está Rogelita.
Right on, okay.
And that concludes the Latino part of our program. Please resume English.
You know what? I do have I have a little.
Please resume in English.
Resume in English. A lot of people ask, "Oh, do you do your program in Spanish?" So,
They do ask us something.
Sometimes we throw in a little Spanish, but mostly it is in English. But I have a little Spanish angle, and I'm trying to find out why this happened because I don't think it's happened before. But today I went to the mailbox and I got a preferential president ballot. We're going to vote here in Arizona on March 22nd, and of course we're all Republicans in my household, so I've got with what are there, 13 candidates or something that were on there originally. But I also got one for the Democrats, and I thought that's interesting.
How did you get both?
I don't know. In fact, I have a call into.
Are you?
That's curious.
I know. Is somebody?
Half Republican.
Do you think my dog registered Democrat?
Ah,
And I didn't know?
Somebody in your
Your
house is a
Maybe
Democrat.
Bella. Oh my gosh,
Bella.
she went to the dark side, and I didn't even know. But I have a call into Maricopa County Recorder Helen Purcell to find out, what's the deal on that. But what's interesting is I was looking at this, so it had, Hillary, it had Martin O'Malley and Bernie Sanders, who Martin O'Malley isn't in anymore, Henry Hughes. Sometimes there's people that run we don't know about because they are on the ballot.
Henry Hughes.
Henry Hughes, Hewes, and then a Michael Steinberg, I have no idea. But you know what? It looks like there's a Latino on their ballot. And that is, this guy is called Roque, R-O-Q-U-E, Rocky, in parentheses, de la Fuente. How about that?
Latino.
Did you know that?
Democrat. No, I've never heard of it. Let me ask the great and powerful Google.
Yeah, Google
Or
that
I'm
for us.
gonna Google the guy.
But that's like our Latino
Rocky.
angle to get us started.
What's his last name?
It's de la Fuente.
De la Fuente.
And it's all,
President.
3 different words on that. There is another Republican Latino candidate, but I don't see him on the ballot. Our friend Cesar Cisneros.
I know. What happened to his name? He's supposed to be on that ballot.
And he hails from Mesa. Lots of stuff going on, including, as most of you know, Dr. Ben Carson has now endorsed Trump. And
Scandalous. Is it? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. I really wondered who he was going to endorse. It did kind of surprise me.
Did it?
It did kind of, but I really didn't know. But he is, his deal is he's the most outsider, so he's endorsing him. I can understand that.
He did say, he said, you see one side of Trump in public. But he said in private, Trump is a very straightforward businessman, sits down, thinks everything out. He says it's a totally different, person.
And if you watch the debates, he showed that side, didn't he? He toned down now.
I believe Dr. Carson.
Dr. Ben Carson's very honest, yes.
And I think he's sat down with Trump, so he's seen both sides, and I believe that he was truthful
From
in
the
what
heart.
he was saying.
They canceled a Trump rally today because they're always
Why
they're
did they
worried
cancel
about
that rally?
violence. Did you see the video
Holy moly.
where they
No,
were
what are you
escorting
talking
someone
about?
out of the a rally, a Trump rally, and this man in the cowboy hat, I think, just socks him one, and then they just keep walking. I don't know. It's craziness. And then Rubio comes on and says, "Oh, there's not been any violence at any other presidential rallies, but Trump." So there's still, the trancazos are out there.
Hey, I'm on Rocky de la Fuente's website.
Oh, he's got a website.
Yep, Rocky 2016, and there's an address at the bottom, and it looks like he's from San Diego.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there you go. I didn't know anything about him. Typical Democrat crap on his website. But what's interesting about it, as I look at Rocky, he looks like a game show host, sort of like a Bob Barker, Alex Trebek in that age bracket.
Does he look heavy Latino?
No, he doesn't. I mean, what you might characteristically consider to be Latino, not necessarily. He's gray-haired. Most Latinos die before they get gray. So.
Well, except for me, I was 19. I got gray.
Did you turn?
Yeah. Not anymore though, because as you know.
No, this gentleman has a mostly complete head of hair, and it's combed back in a man of his age. It's an age-appropriate hairdo that he wears.
Wow.
And but he looks like a game show host.
Interesting. Well, that's
or a auto car
used car
dealership
salesman.
general manager or something like that. He looks like a businessman of that type.
Well, very interesting.
So there you go. A little bit on Rocky.
A little bit on the
more
Democrat
time on
candidate.
Rocky than he deserves, and that he'll probably ever get on.
Aren't
I mean, if you think about it, we're actually talking about this guy in Phoenix, a top 10 media market.
right?
And on a powerhouse radio station like KFNX, you got a great radio show like ours, and we're talking about this guy. He could never otherwise get this kind of publicity.
So Rocky, call in now.
You're welcome.
Some Republicans would love to talk to you. Also,
Rocky, you're welcome.
and also Fiorina, she endorsed Ted Cruz. My guy. I'm a Cruz gal.
Too little, too late.
Too little, too late.
I
They're
don't
just
know.
who's Bush going to endorse? The Neil Bush endorsed Cruz.
Okay, so Neil
It's one of the
is
Bushes.
Jeb's brother, right? See?
Yes.
No, okay.
Yes.
So is Neil's endorsement somehow signaling that the family is going to rally behind Ted Cruz?
It's a very good question, but nothing so far has happened.
Yeah.
And our own
Well, I
Michael
guess it
Savage,
raises
as I was telling you before, is saying, "Oh, Cruz is a Bush guy. That's a Bush guy now." So it's never boring, is it? Hey, real quick before we have to go to our next segment, which will bring on Attorney General and Niece from the Reagan
So
administration.
excited. I can't wait.
I want to introduce you to Frank Thorwald, who's joining us here in studio to help us interview him. And Frank is the first vice chairman for Maricopa County Republican Committee. Frank, welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show once again.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And we're so happy to have you. I know we have lots of politics to talk about, and we want your memories too with Nancy Reagan. We know you have some great pictures. We're going to try to put them up on Facebook.
Well, I'll enjoy sharing them with you.
Awesome. You want a quick little 10-second thought on Nancy Reagan?
Well, it's mixed feelings. I'm sad an era is ending, but I'm happy she's with the president now.
Yes. I have the funerals taped, so when I go home, I'm going to watch that. Very elegant. The class is gone now, right, guys?
So yeah, I mean, any class that we may have had in the White House. Well, I mean, there's some. I think that you could ascribe a certain amount of class to George the First, wouldn't you say?
And Laura Bush.
And Barbara Bush.
Barbara Bush, yes, and I got to meet her. She was a very.
Laura Bush is
You like Laura? Very
Laura
classy.
Bush is very nice. Very
I think
nice.
she has a lot of class.
But I'm just talking to today in general in terms.
Right.
But don't go away because we're going to try to bring back the class on the Chips and Salsa Show here with Alice, Martin, and George, and Frank Thorwald. Keep listening.
Very good.
Great job, Ellen.
Good first segment.
Thanks, guys. All right. Okay, so kind of had fun with that guy. I'm really curious, though. I hope Helen texts me back about why that is.
I wonder if people wanted to cheat the system, if they would say, God, no, but you can't turn
I did give him the right number, didn't I?
Yeah, that's what he gave. So, do we have a backup number for him?
I can call him anytime here.
So if he doesn't call in like in the next minute, we'll go back there. You know what I didn't do though? I wanted to say call in for the gift certificate, so I'll do that real quick, maybe, so people can start calling in.
Yeah. You can say, hey, if you want to, ask a question, comment, or if you want to.
Is that some
And then in the third segment, I'll talk about
on
it.
the thing? Does it say something?
That's
Check
just
with
computer
Jacob,
stuff.
make sure he's on.
Computer stuff.
Nothing for us.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to give the number out, that'd be great.
Okay, the general's online, ready to rock.
Oh, good. He's usually pretty prompt.
Oh yeah.
This is cool. All right. Come back and I'll announce receiptas. Bring you in. Is his wife still alive?
Hmm?
Is his wife still alive?
Ursula,
Yeah. How old is he?
83.
83.
Just turned that in December.
Oh, really? When's his birthday? Do you know?
December 2nd, if I remember right.
Okay. Mine's the 24th. Valerie and George are supposed to come. Valerie and George want to go to Coco's afterwards, and Ted Hayes.
Alice, this is a good ad.
Excuse me.
This is a good ad.
It is a good ad.
I don't think we need to really change anytime
Okay.
soon. I can't say that we burned it out.
Okay, good. We will defend your right to say it. This is Alice Lara, and you are listening to the Chips and Salsa Show with Martin Gonzalez,
Ta-da!
George Ortiz,
Hey.
and we have a special guest here. Frank Thorwald's joining us in studio to interview our very special guest. But first, very quickly, I must say, if you would like to win a Rosita's $50 gift certificate, please call in now to 602-277-KFNX. That's 602-277-5369. Did I get that number right, George?
Yes, you did.
Because I didn't look at the number. I'm so proud of myself.
Really?
Woohoo!
So from your own mind, it just
My
popped
own
out?
mind, it popped out. And
Even
we're-
a woman of your advanced years. You haven't gone
heard
senile yet.
that. No Alzheimer's so far.
Alzheimer's.
But, hey, could
That's
happen.
funny. That's funny.
Well, the Republican Party or the coordinators don't know if you're a Democrat or Republican. Something's going on.
Well, that's not my thing. That's their thing. But we have a really special guest, and we invited Frank Thorwald to come in and help us introduce Attorney General Ed Meese. It's actually Edwin Meese, right? That's a full name. And of course, I think Reagan was the greatest president of all time. And when Frank told us he might be able to get us Ed Meese, we were so excited, weren't we?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Absolutely.
the timing I cannot believe with the passing of Nancy Reagan. But we want to welcome Ed Meese to our airwaves. And Frank, I'm going to welcome Ed Meese, General Ed Meese.
Well,
Are you there?
I'm
I want to make sure he's on the line. Then I'm going to have you introduce him officially. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to have your good friend Frank Thorwald give you the proper introduction that I know I could never do.
Well, I've known Ed now almost 30 years, and I would try to say, I was thinking about what I could say about him that was good, and I got to thinking if I knew every single language in the world, there would not be enough good words to say about him. He is a fantastic individual, a fantastic Republican, a fantastic person in general, and he loves this nation, and he is certainly one of the architects and close confidants of President Reagan.
That's pretty good. We are so honored to have you on, sir. And of course, I would love to ask you, first of all, your thoughts about the passing of former First Lady Nancy Reagan. Oh, that's wonderful. I did happen to notice, though, I watched a few minutes of the services, and our First Lady, Michelle Obama, was there, but noticeably absent was her husband. And, well, go ahead. Well, that's very honorable, I think you say. I believe that where he was today, I would have, myself as an American citizen, I would have been happier if he could have attended. I'm just saying that. That's my opinion, because I think he went to Austin.
He did, for the South by Southwest Expo, which is, by the way, a 10-day tech music festival. So it's not one of those things that, had he not been there today, he couldn't have been there tomorrow. And the president is the ambassador of our country to the world, and in this case, as that ambassador to the world, is also representing all of us in matters of state. As I guess the question might be, would this be considered a matter of state, Mr. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's a good point.
That's good. Oh, always a good diplomat. I want to ask you, General Meese, today's politics versus yesterday's politics. When we had Frank on, we talked about Reagan's 11th commandment, and with all the debates we've had, that certainly hasn't been followed very often. But in the last debate, Mr. Trump appeared to get a little softer tone. Do you think that there is a way we might be returning to that? What is your thought on that? No, it isn't. I mean, the only thing that I can say when someone asked me about that, I said, well, at least we don't have an admitted socialist and someone who's being investigated by the FBI that's running on our team. I can at least say that. Absolutely. And I would like to ask you before our time gets away from us, can you stay for another segment? Is that okay? Okay. We still have you for a few more minutes, and then we have a few minutes of news, and then we might bring you back.
15 minutes?
Yeah. So, okay. And if I just want... Oh. Well, whatever you can give us, we'll take whatever time that you can give us. Do you have, and of course we're going to go ahead and ask you because I've already tried to get out of Frank, but Frank is just entirely too diplomatic, but do you have a horse in this race yet, sir? And we certainly do need some unification. That is absolutely true. Well, I'm so impressed that you're still very actively engaged, I take it. And we want to also invite you whenever you're in Phoenix to come in studio and do the Chips and Salsa show. Now, we've got about just a minute, and before we take a break, and then we'll bring you back, do you have anything to say about Latinos in politics today versus yesterday? I mean, the great thing is we have 2 Latinos that are actually running for president. And General Mies, these 3 Latinos here in studio will totally agree with you, conservative Republicans that we all are. So please hang tight for us, and we'll be right back after a few minutes with our wonderful guest, former Attorney General Ed Mies from the Reagan administration. Don't go away because we'll be back with Martin, George, and myself, Alice Lara, here on the Chips and Salsa Show, KFNX 1100 AM.
A little story about Ed. We were in Germany one time, and we in those days, communications wasn't quite as good as it is now, and we had a satellite phone for secure communications with us all the time, but half the time it never worked. So the president called, needed to talk to Ed.
Oh, is this when you told me about the bar? Yeah,
Yes.
it's a great story.
And the only phone we could get anywhere that worked was, we were in a restaurant that had been shut down for our meeting, and there was this phone on the other side of this bar, and Ed had to lean over the bar, and I mean literally his feet were off the floor so he could reach the phone, because it was just a short cord on it. And he was sitting, laying there like that, talking to the president about some issue. It was, if you'd had a camera,
if it was
would have been
today's world,
absolutely...
you'd have, it on cell phone and put it on Facebook.
You would never have done that, but it was been just funny things that happened over the years.
And then feel free when we're talking to him to interject and get on there too. I meant to say that.
Well, one of the things that the 11th commandment, and the other thing, the worst Republican is still better than the best Democrat.
I like that line. I have to remember that line.
That's a line, something that Ed can talk about too, because I keep saying that everywhere I go. And since we were together last, I found a great deal of unity behind that phrase. People are tired of hearing negative things.
Tell me that again, Frank.
The worst Republican is better than the best Democrat.
Maybe we need to come up with the buttons or the bumper sticker and have that. Maybe the county could sell that.
Instead of making America great, have
The
something
worst
like that.
Republican is better than... The worst Republican is better than any Democrat?
The worst Republican is better than the best Democrat.
Oh, than the best Democrat, yeah. And that's really true.
Yeah. Another question you might ask is, Ed, about the terrorism in the Middle East.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting to that, and I said, we have 2 minutes. So, Martin, if you want to, when you bring him in, Ed Meese is also a terrorism expert, so we can ask about that as well.
Also constitutional expert, and one thing would be the presidential executive orders and that type of thing. He's a constitutional attorney.
So if you guys want to get some questions going, I'm going to ask him about telling me more about the Latino, the role of Latinos.
Yeah,
in the
bring
GOP.
it back there. Perfect.
So I'm going to bring it back with that. But if you guys want to each formulate a question, either about terrorism or the Constitution and executive authority.
And then you're also going to promo the gift certificates, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to give away the comedy gift certificates. How do we do that and not take too much of his time? Maybe we can.
We can do that in the fourth.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Let's do the
it.
comedy in the fourth.
That's good. Oh.
Hello and welcome back to the Friday edition of the Chips and Salsa Show. Today is.
Oh, this is interesting. Helen Purcell says, if you did not order an early ballot, you should receive a sample, but only for the party you're registered in. To whom was the Democratic ballot addressed to? Who was it to? Household. Let's see.
Hello and welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show. You're listening. Hello and welcome back. You're listening to the Friday edition of the Chips and Salsa Show. Today is March 11, 2016. And my name is Martin Gonzalez, and in the studio we lovingly refer to as El Molcajete. Is the only woman who makes any sense in radio. Alice Lara. And Don Jorge Ortiz. Okay. El Alacrán.
It's very nice of him to stay with us through the day.
Eso, pan con queso. Headline news, commentary, and entertainment from a decidedly conservative Latino perspective. Hello and welcome back. You're listening to the Friday edition of the Chips and Salsa Show. Today is March 11th, 2016. And my name is Martin Gonzalez, and in the studio that we lovingly refer to is as El Molcajete, is the only woman who makes any sense in radio, Alice Lara.
Hola, get my guac on, Martin.
And Don Jorge Ortiz, El Alacrán. Hola, Scorpion King.
Scorpion King.
Well, tonight we have a great show for you. You've been listening to Ed Meese and Frank Thornwald. And Frank is our in-studio guest, and we're sure glad and we sure appreciate you for being a part of our show. And on the phone, we are speaking with Ed Meese, former Attorney General, and he's an author, and he's an elder statesman, and he's a lawyer, law professor. What else can we say?
He's a fine
about
American.
Mr. Ed Meese. He served in an official capacity within the Ronald Reagan administration, and we're so pleased to welcome you back, Mr. Attorney General. Well, you've been very gracious with your time, very generous with your time, and we appreciate it. And we wanted to, I wanted to ask you a quick question before we went to break. We started to touch on a little bit about the role of Latinos in the GOP, and I was wondering if you could expand on that a little bit and tell me more what your thoughts are. And then, and I appreciate you sharing that. And so my follow-up question is, why there seemed to be the perception then that so many Latinos are mesmerized by the Democratic Party. They seem transfixed by the messages that they hear from the likes of Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders. I'm wondering if it's more of a media illusion, or if you believe that that's really happening. Mm-hmm.
General Meese, this is Alice. And, my parents were registered Democrats. However, they're from the Depression. And I remember my mom used to say, well, Roosevelt put people back to work because there is a high value placed on work. However, I found out later from her, my grandfather, who was actually Republican, and he was a businessman. And one of the things that he told her is, one of these days they're going to tax us out of existence. So maybe he was paying closer attention to politics and history. But in my whole family, and now there are more Republicans and Democrats, they still vote conservative.
This is George, General, or Attorney General. And, I was raised a Democrat, and I was raised a Democrat for 30 years. My family, that's all I knew was Democrat. I was a union president out in California when I grew up, and I started working, and I was involved with the Frontlash, the youth organization of the AFL-CIO, and I always thought, because I was raised that the Democrats, you had to be Democrat, even though Latinos are actually conservative in nature. But then when I saw Reagan, when he became president, and after Carter just lowered the country, and Reagan came in, I had so much respect for Reagan and the people around him, and so I commend you for everything you've done. And I've befriended Frank here. I'm a chairman of LD out here, and I met Frank a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I guess, and I'm learning so much from his era, and I commend you and what you've done and what you're still doing for the party and what he's doing for the party, and that the main thing that you guys keep repeating is the 11th commandment. And I really believe that Reagan believed in that so much. You don't talk bad about your fellow Republicans. The party should be united, and this bickering has got to stop. And that's just my opinion. But
I understand also you know quite a bit about the Constitution and the Middle East, and I know you have a lot of opinions about that. What I want to ask more specifically, though, is a big concern that I have is Obama has cut back our military so much. And one thing that Reagan did very effectively is to show strength. And we knew America was strong and to be that way. What's going to happen? Hopefully we will have a Republican president. How do you see that picture? It's not going to be very easy to bring us back to those standards again. And General Meese, I know we're down to our last few minutes here, and it's just been fantastic. I'm so glad that you're here with us. I do want to ask you, with the recent passing of Scalia, the importance of getting the right person in there, because they will be appointing the next. We just have a couple minutes left, but what would you like to tell our audience about that?
Well said. Thank you very much, Mr. Mason. I do have one final question, if I may ask. Can you tell me a little bit more about the Conservative Action Project that you're involved in? Thank you very much. You've been listening to Mr. Ed Meese, Attorney General of the Ronald Reagan Administration. You're listening to 1100 KFNX.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
You could spend hours talking to him.
Do you want to talk to him real quick?
I can talk to him anytime.
Awesome.
Can we talk to him and just call him and say thank you?
There, or we could even go.
We didn't get a chance to say thank you. We were
I
right
wonder
up
if he's
against the
still
wall.
on. He's still on the phone.
You just want,
You could always get back to the dinner.
yeah. Maybe we could just text him a thank you even.
Thank you from the chips and salsa.
Here.
That's the only thing, because you're like me.
Here, you can text him. Here, I've got his.
Oh,
Because you always have like the producer, and the producer can officially say.
Yeah, there
you
you
want
go.
to just text him a thank you?
Okay.
He's brilliant.
He is. Yeah,
Just,
I
he's
admire.
83 and so sharp, man.
I admire him more than just about, Ronald Reagan, Ed Meese, and one other person, two other people that are in politics at the time are the people that I admire the most. Steve Studdard is the other one, and Ed Meese. I can't think of any two finer people on this earth. They care about this country first, Republican Party, and in taking care of this country. And as far as understanding the issues, understanding the nuances of them with the broadest spectrum of knowledge, you couldn't beat either one of them.
Yeah, I wish time would have allowed. I wanted to go into a little more about the Latino. Maybe we can talk about it here.
I don't know how to press the wrong button to send it.
It seems like that there is some alignment here between the Latino culture and GOP tenets, right? And Mr. Meese talked about some of that. Ed Meese talked about that. Families, prosperity, business, economy, education. So there's, and we talked about the media, distorting that and creating a perception that if you're a Latino, you should be a Democrat. But I think that there is something more to this that I want to talk to you guys about. Get your thoughts. So maybe we can talk about that.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I was asking him. You just need a lot more time. That's all you need, because that
We can't do the
amazed
show in
me.
an hour.
Because my family is very conservative. All of our families are very conservative, but they were Democrats. And my mom started telling me that story about my grandfather. She says, your grandfather was a Republican. Really? But it all makes sense when I figured out
George,
what he was saying. He was paying
You drive the
attention.
bus this one?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
You're driving the bus in this segment?
I guess so.
All right. Show us the way.
You want me to talk about this, Church?
And I'll-
For life? Yeah, I'll put it to you so you can talk about it.
And I'm going to talk about Rosita's for a minute, too.
Okay, I'll open it, then I'll. Whoop.
Whoops.
Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa show. This is Jorge, and I have my glorious guest, Alice.
Oh, hello. I'm a guest now. Right on.
I mean,
I can get my
co-host.
guac.
And my co-host.
It's Friday night. It's confusing.
Martine.
Hey there.
And Alice, you were going to talk about something about a laugh for hope.
Yeah, we have another giveaway. By the way, there's still time. You can call Jacob at 602-277-KFNX.
$50 gift certificate.
Rositas. We're going to talk about Rositas in just a moment
Yeah.
now, but we have something new. We're going to be doing this for the next few weeks. We are going to give away tickets to Laugh for Hope. And these are 2 tickets. They're each worth $26. It is a comedy concert on April 16th at 7 p.m. It's going to be at Xavier College Prep, Virginia G. Piper Performing Arts Center here in Phoenix. They have Judy McDonald. She has been seen on The Dennis Miller Show, Darren Streblow on iHeartRadio, and Johnny W. is seen on The Rock Show Comedy Hour. This is for a wonderful organization. In fact, we're going to try to have someone in from this organization. And this is to benefit Life Choices Women's Clinics, extremely pro-life. They help pregnant women. They do all kinds of stuff there, and we'll talk more about that. But call in if you didn't get to win the Rositas gift certificate. Go ahead and leave your name and number with Jacob for these tickets to the comedy show. And I've already got my tickets to go. It's going to be great. Hopefully, Martin and George, maybe you guys can go with your wives.
Martine, what's this banner up here at Rosita's? What's this all about?
Well, I'll tell you all about it, but first I want you to, if you're at home listening, or if you can pull over and write down this number and put it in your speed dials or on your cell phone. Give us a call here at the radio station, 602-277-5369. I'm going to repeat that, 602-277-5369. You know, we live in a great city. We live in a city that has Major League Football. We've got hockey. We've got basketball. And we've got America's sport, right? Baseball.
Baseball been very, very good to me.
Baseball been very, very good to me. And so what's happening right now in Phoenix is spring training. And I was on Facebook on Sunday, and I think that every one of my friends on Facebook went to a spring training game. And what I love about Rosita's is that it seems to be strategically located geographically here in the valley, in Tempe, in the middle of all the things that are happening with spring ball.
Yep.
And I'm speaking specifically of the Rosita's that is on University and Hardy in Tempe. They have two locations. They have the one in Mesa that's in Dobson Ranch, just south of Dobson Ranch, right there on Guadalupe and Dobson. And in fact, coincidentally, I was there on Wednesday night with my lovely and charming wife, Verlaine. And she had the beef chimichanga, which is the shredded beef. And it comes with the guacamole and the sour cream.
I've seen that plate. It looks awesome.
And I'd never had this before, I had the Mexican flag. And the Mexican flag is a red cheese enchilada. And when I got that, I took a bite, and it was delicious. Okay? Then I ate and a bite after bite after bite, because I did it one at a time, because there's 3 enchiladas on this plate. The second enchilada was the spinach, the creamy spinach enchilada. Oh my goodness. It was unbelievable. So by the time I get to the green chili chicken enchilada, my eyes have already rolled into the back of my head. I am like completely gone. These 3 enchiladas were absolutely delicious. And let me tell you, the rice was so fresh. The rice was so tender. It was perfect. And so take your wife there, take your girlfriend there, whatever, take your family there. If you're going to a game afterwards, go to Rosita's. That's all I can tell you. You're going to get the best Mexican food in town. It's at Rosita's. And if you call us, we're going to give you a $50 gift certificate.
I'm going to try that next time we go. It sounds really, really delicious.
Oh, and one more quick thing. Treat yourself. Order the albondiga soup first. What a great way to intro into your dining experience there. I had the soup, the albondiga soup. Yum, yum, yum. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, we need to thank Frank for being here with us this evening, kind of guiding us along with Attorney General Ed Meese.
Well, it's a pleasure to come. As last time, I've always enjoyed coming and being here with on your show. It's a great show.
And I gotta say, Frank, I've met a lot of people. I'm 64, and I've met a lot of people.
How old are you?
64?
I've met a lot of people.
That's viejo.
I've met a lot of people.
He's older than us.
I'm a political junkie, and I really, really admire the stuff that you've done for our country, and with the Reagans and with the other people during the Reagan administration, and what you're doing now. What Ed Meese is doing now. You guys just don't stop. It's like it's in your blood, and you have to be commended for it, because there's a lot of people that do things and they do it for a certain reason, and you never hear from them again. But the true patriots are the ones that keep at it and keep trying to improve things when things start faltering. And I commend you, and I thank you for being involved with the county party and with the Republican Party, and keep it up. And you'll always I'll always have your back. I'll always be there if you need anything. And thank you for helping us and bringing Meese on the air with us, which was fantastic. And there's other people that that I really look forward to meeting, who are also patriots. And I think you're good for the party, and Meese is good for the party. And when people talk bad about the Republican Party, they don't know what they're talking about. There's people in the Republican Party that mean good, that have a good agenda for the party. And it's just like I said, the bickering has to stop. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. You know, I got back involved because I believe in Reagan. I believed in the party. And I think Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan would have been saddened by the way people are talking right now. I don't believe Ronald Reagan believed that, well, let's put it this way, we should get rid of the term rhino, because Ronald Reagan believed the worst Republican was better than the best Democrat, and he did not believe in attacking other Republicans. The only, if the goal of the party is to elect Hillary or somebody else to as president, then we should continue our attacking each other. Otherwise, we should unify and work together.
Very well said. I want to give an update. I heard back from Helen Purcell, the Maricopa County Recorder, on the ballots and how I got a Democratic ballot. And she said that was a mistake. I should have only received the Republican one, so she appreciates that. So if any of you out there that happens to you, let the Recorder's Office know about that. Wow, this has been a great night. We need like 4 more hours to talk about stuff, don't we?
We do. And Frank, I have one quick question. I was wondering if you could address this. Ed Meese talked a little bit about it, and I was wondering, because it seems to me that the Republicans, the GOP tenets that Ed Meese talked about, that of education and economic prosperity and families, those are consistent with Latino values. So why is it that maybe we're not seeing Latinos move towards the Republican Party, and what is happening in Phoenix that you think might attract more Latinos to the Republican Party?
Well, the news media is a big part of that, and in fact, George and I had several meetings on that recently to work together to change that and bring more Latinos into the party and how we can do it.
April the 21st, we're going to do it.
What's happening then?
It's a big event.
Go ahead. Well, we're going to have a forum. We're bringing the Latinos together to discuss issues.
April 21st?
Yes.
Where and who's hosting it?
Frank is setting it all up, and I'm making contacts, and
We'll keep you posted.
It's still in the works.
yes.
In development.
Okay. Oh, so we might have our finger on the pulse here.
There you
As
go.
the details come along, Frank and George, you guys are going to be able to share that with us and our audience. That's very exciting. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate everybody.
Thanks, man.
We appreciate Frank and Mr. Meese, and we appreciate those of you who have been listening for the last hour. We love you. Come back next Friday right here on 1100 KFNX.
Ew. Gosh. Oh, and I didn't even promo. Next.
Sorry, George, I didn't realize I was taking that out. I just started taking it out.
That's okay.
Sorry. The show.
It works good because that way you can see him.
No,
Yeah.
but it's good because we'll talk about that a little bit more because we've invited quite a few Latinos already, and of course you're invited. You come in and
I think
we're going to talk issues. We're going to talk issues and we're talking.
Are you going to need an MC?
We could use an MC.
Well, see, there you go. I could be your MC.
There you go.
You could say, we have
My
the
theme.
star of stage, screen, and television, Martin Gonzalez.
And he's going to open up this.
When is it? April? Frank, when is it?
April 21st.
It's going to be at
It's
the
a Saturday.
GOP offices.
Yeah. So see, you can.